Well, today I'm going to show you how I'm going to keep this papaya tree growing exactly where it's growing. And it was not intended to be in this spot, but this is what happened. This papaya tree, or multiple papaya trees, came up in my compost tubs that I do when I compost in place. And last year I had, as you can see, my tomatoes are old and tomatillos. There was a bunch of stuff growing in here. And while they were growing, these tiny little papaya trees came up in the pot. There was a pot sitting in there because compost gets everywhere. And it started coming up in that little tiny pot. See that? Well, it took off and I kind of left it, and Gary said he was going to move it, and I thought I was going to move it. We didn't move it, and we were thinking of moving it now, but I'm going to show you what these papaya trees did. Okay, Gary, go ahead and let's show them what we found yesterday. And what they did, look at that, they went through my side holes. This is the side holes. They're about 1 inch from the bottom. You can see the hole over here. If he moves his hand, I'll show you there. See, that's the hole. They sent 3 major tap roots out. And look at this was wood chips piled around. Let's see, what are you holding, Gary? Look at how the wood chips broke down into beautiful soil. And they knew it, and they left my tub. That's what papaya trees will do. And they have set 3 tap roots down there. So what we decided, since it's not in a bad spot in the garden, it's not in anybody's way, we're going to bust the pot open a little bit more so they'll have, they can send out the roots a little bit better. We're going to leave it, and then we'll see what happens. And I'll show you how we're going to make the holes bigger. But that's the papaya tree, and we're not sure what variety it is. I mean, it was a store-bought papaya. The seeds get in the compost, and everything grows in compost. Doesn't even need any soil in the beginning. So I'll show you what we're going to do, and I'm going to do it my way, and then Gary can explain what way he would do it, but I do it differently. So look at that. There's a roly-poly in there. But there's earthworms down there and everything. Okay, now let's get going and I'll show you how I'm going to bust the holes open. As I've showed you in some of my videos, I use a hot knitting needle to make holes in some of my pots. Well, I couldn't bring a hot knitting needle out, so I've got a soldering iron here. And what I'm going to do is start making holes. And we can either break it out, or the plant will break it, or I'll have Gary finish breaking it out. I don't want to hurt the root. See this, it will relieve the pressure in there, and then the plastic will split. I want to split too high. Now this soldering iron, I bought this at the 99-cent store. So anybody can do it. You don't need tools. Keep an eye out of your dollar stores, they get them in. And I'm not sure, is it safe to go, you think, any closer?
I think so. A little bit.
A little bit closer? I don't want to catch my poor plant on fire. And I'm going to do this to each one. We might be able to bust it now. If not, it will bust itself. I can even do it a little bit on the other side. Look at the taproot, it sent it sideways. I don't want the pot to totally fall apart, which I don't think it will now. Now it's going to be really steady with this root. Let's go over here and I can do this one too. But you get the idea. You can use this for flower pots too. If you get some pots you want to make holes, you can get yourself a little soldering iron, get a cheap one, and then just start making holes. You don't have to use a hot knitting needle or a drill. I like using something hot like this because you don't have a chance of splitting anything. I think we can bust the ones ourselves open now. I mean, I think the plant will do it, or we can finish doing it. But this way, as the plant is growing now, it's already trying to break those holes. This will start to break because now we've got a weak spot in this tub. I can pretty much leave it that way if I wanted to, right? Do you think I should do some more?
Yeah, I think it's good. And we're outside, it's well ventilated.
Yeah, we're outside, so it's not a problem with doing it. But I think now the root will break it on its own as it grows. I don't think we have to do anything else.
And we can always keep an eye on it too.
Yeah, I don't want to damage the root. Could get in there a little bit more maybe. Just put a tip in there. Look at that. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, we don't want the whole... I don't think the pot will fall apart anymore. Even if the pot fell apart, this thing has set so many roots now. And this tree is going to stay here until the end of its life. Because we're not going to move it. If we tried to move it, the odds are we would kill it because of this long taproot. The taproot could be as long as the tree is big. And it's pretty big right now. But now I think... Should I risk it getting closer?
Yeah, you could. You could join the holes up a little too, if you wanted to.
You could probably take a little screwdriver and start snapping it apart, but we don't even need to do it. It's going to break now on its own. I don't know where the root is inside. Let me get down a little bit more. Ouch. Okay. But these are really good, like for pots. Any pot, you get a plastic pot and you want to grow something in it, get yourself a cheap soldering iron. So when it breaks, it's no big deal. You don't need an expensive one. You don't always see them at the dollar stores, but sometimes you walk in and they have glue guns and soldering irons. Hey, 99 cents, $1. See, this will probably, it's going to be a little hot. When this root starts growing now bigger and bigger, it can easily bust that. Let me see if I can get in there. I don't want to hurt the root. And now this root's got so much power to it as it grows. Oh, I can even feel, look how weak that is now. That will break. And we could break it with a screwdriver, a small, I don't know, anything. Now, my husband said if he did it his way, he was going to bring his blowtorch out here, and you were going to do what? Why don't you explain what you were going to do?
I was going to heat up a nail with my torch and just use the nail to do this. If you were off the grid, that would work.
That's true, because I do need electricity for this. I just took my soldering iron and plugged it into a long extension cord. Okay, this one's done. This one's actually released now. This one's totally released, but this is also a smaller root. See this now, it can easily, the tree bust through this with the root, and I don't want to damage the root.
Yeah.
This can be pulled out with a screwdriver now, if I wanted to.
Like needle nose pliers or anything?
Yeah, that's true. But this is a woman's way of doing it. I don't want to come out here. I shouldn't say that. I'll get reamed. But that's the way, you know, the average, a lot of people don't have any tools. They don't have a blowtorch, or some people don't even have drills.
Well, this is the most inexpensive way of doing it.
See, I like doing all my flower pots this way because look how nice it is. Look, you just go right through. If I don't want to use a hot knitting needle, and you don't crack it. Sometimes you drill through some plastic things and they crack. I can almost. You know what? I think that's it. Look at that. You can just go that way. I don't think I can do it this way. Kind of in an awkward position, but let's see.
What you really want to do is just open
Oh my goodness, look, the roly-poly's coming out. They're going, no, it's hot. What I want to do? What?
Open it up so you don't have the roots constricted.
Well, that's what we're doing, right?
Yes.
I don't want to burn the root. What if I touch the root? Will it hurt the plant?
It should be fine at this point. You're only going to touch a small space.
And you can even add holes later to pots too. While you have them growing somewhere and you decide, oh, I want the water to come out in a different direction, or that's pretty much it.
Yeah, if there's not enough drainage on your pots.
Right, just heat up a, well, you could do it with your blowtorch. Oh wow, I can feel this is gonna just fall apart now. As I push in it, the whole thing is pushing. Pulling this towards me, not towards the root. But look at that. But now this tree can stay here. Let's not catch anything on fire. I wouldn't do that. And the tree can set out bigger roots. And if we need to later, I can make holes somewhere else. But that's how the plant now, let me unplug this if I can. That's how the plant can stay here. If I need, I can come back and do more. This thing's unplugged now and it's still working, see? Another thing is if you wanted to run outside and do a few pots, it's not plugged in. So at this point, it will still go for quite a while. It's amazing how long this will stay hot for. See, it's definitely not plugged in. And you can still work. It's like I saw them selling these glue guns once and they said, oh, you just heat them up and they're cordless. Well, they weren't cordless. They were, you heat them up and you had about 5 minutes to still do some work. It was the same thing. You can still work on this for probably 5 minutes or so with plastic. See how hot this thing is? And it's still not plugged in. But now this plant can make its roots bigger and it can stay here. You know, it may not have even needed this, to be honest. The way that plants grow, it probably would have just kept going and have a bigger root system underneath this root. I mean, look how this is. Look how big the roots are. But it's going to be much happier now once it can get through and, okay, now this isn't as hot, so I might be able to get closer to the root. Look at that. Now this plant's going to easily bust this open. But that's how easy it is to, with a soldering iron to make holes in these plastic pots. If I wanted to make the direction of the water go differently, I can make holes anywhere with a soldering iron. But like Gary said, he would have used his blowtorch or even a drill. A drill, though, might have gone too far in too quickly and might have split it or...
You run the risk of hitting the root.
Yeah. But just wanted to show you, this is our way of releasing some pressure for the papaya tree. Look at the roots. Look how it's sending, and then look how beautiful. This is Woodchips. Look how beautiful this is, this soil. And this papaya tree knows it. What we're going to do now is we're going to fill up more Woodchips higher up and let this papaya tree do its thing, and that will work. So with that, I just wanted to show you what we were doing. Did you want to show anything or no?
No,
that's
good.
it? Okay, so just wanted to show you how we're going to give this papaya tree new life, and it can keep growing, and it can sit right here in this tub. And oh, and as far as inside, let me lay this down. See if Gary can get inside here. I'm going to compost as I do. You can lift the camera up a little bit. I'm going to compost in place, and I'm going to clear all these old plants out. And I'll probably, I don't know if I'll leave this or not. This is a pepper. See, it's already coming back. I might leave the peppers, but I'm going to compost kitchen scraps in here, get rid of the old tomato plant in here, and then fill it up with broken down wood chips. And probably we're going to cut the, gee, I should have brought my cutters out. We're going to cut this pot just with the cutters, any hand cutters, snip it, and this way this pot will break open and it can leave this pot too. It's already going to bust it, but if I snip it all the way around, then it will just split. But I'm not going to do anything right now. Just split it and let it do its own thing and fill it all the way to the top. Cut it, see? Cut the rim, and then the plant will split it as it grows, because I've released pressure off the hardest part. See? And we could cut it further down as the plant grows. And then real quick, I wanted to show you, see how the roots, where the roots are growing? See the roots there? They're actually heading towards my other compost bin here where I throw kitchen scraps. And that's another plant that came up from seed. That's my red Swiss chard. But see what it's done? It's left its tub and it's heading towards this tub. That's what my other papaya trees did too. So that's, you know, really interesting, and they really like it. So you can butt up a bunch of tubs. If you're working with a bunch of tubs, you can just put them side by side, and it works really good for plants around it. So this plant should be really good. It should be hopefully as big as our other papaya trees too that came up in the compost. So with that, well, you know what? Let me show you real quick. Let me walk over here. And I know you know our other papaya trees if you've seen our past videos. This is other ones that have come up in compost. Look at the pot this one's in. That one left the pot. We didn't do anything. And it's gone. And it's feeding off of these compost bins I've got here. See? I throw, I'm calling it compost bins. They're kitchen scraps, garden leaves, banana peels, eggshells, coffee grinds. Everything goes in there, and then we throw some wood chips on top. And in the spring, we grow zucchini and different things in here. But that's the other papaya tree. So now we've relieved pressure, and we'll let that papaya tree grow out of the tub. And hopefully it will be as big as this one, and we'll have some papayas soon. So with that, have a great day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. And hopefully you'll like and subscribe. And feel free to ask questions. We try to answer as much as we can. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.